Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott wave update for Chainlink. Now, before I get into my updated count, I wanted to show you last video, and that was that we were making a contracting diagonal wave 1 and 2, looking for 5 3-wave patterns within this contracting diagonal, in which case we'd complete a large 1 and 2. Now, since that move, we actually made another low, so I've had to adjust my count, and my bias is still this diagonal for my primary count. That is what I'm trading by. There are some other counts that can play out, but there's going to be a lot of volatility over the next day, and I want to take advantage of these moves. Now, I did get in this trade. Unfortunately, it was really late, so I didn't end up leveraging up the way I wanted to, but I ended up just buying a small piece at the breakout here. Usually I'd stay up a bit later and leverage up here, but it is what it is. I got 1600 for now, Chainlink, and what I'm looking to do is add on pullbacks here myself to leverage up, and also within this B wave of this final 3-wave move. So you can see we're still slightly contracting. It doesn't look ideal. Ideal would have been the way we had it labeled out with the contracting nature here, but we have to give what the market gives us, right? And instead of an ABC where we completed here, we ended up making another 3 and another 3. And that's just a double zigzag, ABC, X, ABC, right? That's why in my videos, I always tell you to keep in mind that a move can always fail. If you get a 3-wave and rejection, that's usually what's happening. It's just not quite ready to make that move, but it eventually does. That's why in the market, so many people get upset. I've heard it before, where you get stopped out and then it does exactly what you expect, right? It's good times. But anyways, yeah, looking to leverage up in this position, looking for a 5-3-5. 5 waves up, 3 back, 5 waves up. Want to break for this pattern to be considered complete. Minimum target would be to break this 3rd wave high, at which point we can pivot. 1298. We're right in that zone, probably around the 786. Invalidation of this would be 1408 of a diagonal. That's where if we broke that level, this would have to be labeled something else and something more bullish, even though it would be a very ugly count if we reach that 1408. So after this move, this becomes a wave 1, looking for a 3-wave pullback for a wave 2 to grab that major 3rd wave to the upside. Okay, so that's what I'm playing for this move here, looking for us to come between the 618 and the 786, maybe even the 50 of this move to the downside for our first A wave. Within that 5th wave, then looking for that ABC pullback, in which case I will add to my position as well, looking for the 1-to-1 extension of the A off the B once it's in, right? We don't have it in, so we can't really pull those fibs. But anything above 1298 is our expectation in a 3-wave move. That's the important thing to understand. Okay, so what were we talking about here? Yep. So I've had to make, let me put that in. There we go. Gone. So on the larger time frame, where that puts us, if our low is in and we end up making that 5-wave move, is a larger 1-2. And this would be a micro once we make that move, 1-2. So we're expecting a very big 3rd wave up to break with our eventual targets for our 3rd wave up around $93 for a 3rd wave. And that's in comparison of this 1 and 2 at our standard extended targets of the 1.618 extension. So just so you know, that's the eventual targets. And once we get that wave 1, this is where I'd want to leverage up for that entire move, because in that scenario, we should not come back to this level. But I will explain that in the next video if we make that move. Now, I've had to make a slight adjustment here to allow for downside in case this fails. There's always a bullish and a bearish case, remember? And before I had our high being here, in order to allow further downside with another wave to the downside, I had to adjust this as a triangle wave 4. Very, very ugly, but it doesn't break any rules, and that allows for another 3-wave move to the downside in case this fails. Now, in case this fails, right now we have a WXY. In case this fails, I would allow a couple different things. This could be an X wave, and we make some sort of zigzag. In that case, this was a double zigzag. This was a zigzag. So it would end up making some sort of diagonal here as like an A, B, C, something like this. And this would be our final Z wave. But I'm just giving this because I don't think this is going to happen. But I do have to offer that scenario because there are ways where Bitcoin could be topping, right? Alternative number 2 would be this ends up being some sort of triangle, similar to XRP if you've been watching that, where this is like a, let me actually use a labeling here. This would be like an A, B, C, D, E, right? And then we make our zigzag after that. And this would be our X, something like this. So those are my downside scenarios. But as of right now, all my trades are based on my primary until it actually breaks. And that is this move up to around $13. I will be taking profit at that level. And warning again, if we break above 1408, so that might be, say I take profit around 1310. If we continue and go to 1408, I would probably re-trigger in and put my stop at a pivot where it would break a rule, right? Because then that diagonal is invalidated. But I am expecting this after that move. All right. And where would that put us? Let's just reverse engineer this. If we come to the 786, this is just my ideal scenario, just so you can get an idea. If we came to exactly 1311, throw in our -1. This is just a guideline. I need the actual pivots to be like bang on. But after that, we'd be looking for challenging this previous high. So our labeling would be something like this. 1, come to the 618. These extensions are based on the 618 pivot. This is what we'd be looking for. Next move would be around 21. If we pivot off the 618 and come to 310, right? These are ideal. Something like this. And then we go up for our 5th. So that's what we're looking for, guys. I am in this, like I said, looking to leverage up. That's it for this one. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want the updates right away. Catch me on Twitter if you want at caching_waves. Sometimes I do updates on there. I don't do in videos. And I'll see you guys on the next one.